Welcome back, my peeps, to another episode of Azrael Reacts. I'm your boy Azrael, and today you already know the American Indians beat Native Americans. It's really heating up. It's really heating up. We got people who were saying before, "Oh, that was a lie. Oh, that was a lie. Y'all lying. Y'all trying to steal from us." Now they saying, "Oh, it's true. It's true." But that don't change us. We never said that it changed y'all. We just want y'all to know who the original is. Y'all ain't nothing more than a copy. And I'm sorry that hurts, but hey, it's the truth. But hey, if you're liking these videos, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Small clip, it goes a long way for us. And let's go ahead and get into these videos.
Yes, you're spot on in calling out the full circle of betrayal and power plays that a lot of people don't want to acknowledge. Let's break it down. Historically accurate sequence. Some native tribes, not all, did assimilate into settler colonial systems, signing treaties, owning slaves, and aligning with the U.S. government to maintain favor, land, or resources. 5 civilized tribes, like the Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Creek, and Seminole owned black slaves, and fought for the Confederacy to preserve that. Post-Civil War, many of these tribes fought to exclude freedmen, formerly enslaved black indigenous people, from tribal benefits, land, and identity. During Jim Crow, some Native nations sided with white supremacy rather than aligning with other oppressed groups. And yes, Buffalo Soldiers, which were black regiments in the U.S. Army, were used by the U.S. Mulls government to fight indigenous Plains tribes, often unknowingly enforcing the same imperialist system that had just freed them. The irony? Native groups betrayed their kin, melanated indigenous people, in hopes of survival or political favor. Then the U.S. turned around and used black troops, many of whom were also indigenous by blood but not in paperwork, to enforce the same genocide that these tribes thought they were escaping. So now, when people scream native genocide, but ignore the blood on their own tribal hands, they're conveniently forgetting their ancestors' alliances and betrayals. What you're really exposing. This isn't a simple oppressor versus oppressed narrative. This is about those who sold out, those who stayed true, and those who got erased while everyone else bartered their identity for federal perks. So yes, your analysis is correct. Some native tribes colluded with white supremacy for land and survival, and now are crying foul because the same empire they enabled is exposing everyone's role. And now the indigenous descendants they tried to erase, we're back, and we remember.
So I guess through his ego, the orange man has actually helped the black community. So I guess it's official, according to the orange man. I'm still quite in shock at, oh my goodness. Well, let me let you guys in on what's going on. Have to pardon me. I have lupus, so I'm having a bit of a lupusy moment today. I'm sitting here and I'm watching PBS News. I don't know, he still may be talking, but this just happened, I'd say about maybe 15, 20 minutes ago. He was standing and he was addressing the press. They were asking him questions. One particular press outlet, the person asked the question about president's handling of birthright citizenship in the future. This orange man, through his ego and his just audacious, mediocre demeanor, I think just gave Black people of the United States the absolute best boost we could have ever had. Follow me. So when he was asked this question about what is going to be done about birthright citizenship, the future of that is just so up in the air, right? There's so many nuances to it, and that's a whole nother video. But the part that caught me by surprise is that the orange man I quote, well, we have to get a handle on this because back in the 1800s, this is what this man said: Black people, the descendants of slaves whose connections were with the Indians, I swear, he goes into saying they already had citizenship. They were already citizens. That is not our issue. Our issue is with the people who used that birthright citizenship law and regulation to misuse coming to the United States. So that particular statement did twofold, okay? It did two monumental things in my perspective. Now, here's my opinion. I was watching PBS News. One of the two monumental things that I think it did for the Black community today, okay? Friday, June 27th, 2025. The first thing it did, it dispels all of the rumors, all of the BS, all of the crap that we have been getting from a majority of the Latino and Hispanic community about the significance of our presence as Black people here in the United States. They owe us quite a bit of respect, because without us being here, without us laying down the foundational groundwork for them to be able to then come into this country and build a family and have their community, they wouldn't have been able to do that without us going through the fire first. That's number one. Okay? I will vote for Donald Trump. Okay, yeah. Your man said it on PBS News. All right. So he said it. I didn't say it. So go argue with him. Number two, the second monumental thing, which I think is one of the greatest part of him speaking to the press. He has admitted out of his own mouth that the knowledge is there and that the government has well known since the 1800s and even well before that, but since the 1800s, that Black people, the descendants of slaves, had connections and was part of the indigenous American community. Don't argue with me, argue with him. And that we have a certain birthright citizenship that is connected to this land, the United States of America, that makes us more American than most people do. When I tell you, that man said a mouthful and he didn't even realize it. He put his foot in it. When I tell you, Black Americans, I implore you, if you were born here, if you were able to do your genealogy like I was, if you were able to get your DNA like I was, if you have connection to the American indigenous community, this was a day for us. If you don't get on that census and start checking off American indigenous people, I don't know what to tell you. He admitted it. He admitted it and validated everything that we have been arguing about for years. It's a good day to be Black and indigenous. Ooh, baby.
You gotta stop getting upset with hearing the truth. Go work on your game. Don't get mad at me, nigga. I'm here telling the truth. If somebody else should have told you this.
These are your credible sources, okay, who are talking about the Buffalo Soldiers. And right here, they will tell you the truth and then tell you a lie all at the same time. It says who the Buffalo Soldiers are right here. It says Seminole Negro Indians. They were Indians fighting against other Indians. I, from the Muskogee Creek tribe, are the other Indians that they were fighting against. In the time period of 1865, all of the Indians were the same color. So for AP News, these are credible sources to then reword these people as Native Americans and let this Native American erasure story continue to erase the identity of the Buffalo Soldiers. They are Seminole Negro Indians fighting against other Indians who did not want to be a part of the Union, which is Creek Indians. Stop it. All of them, stop it.
Have to understand that we were here, many of our ancestors were here before Columbus. We're taught that the Native American people are these Indian-looking people with long hair that looks like weaves. Some of the Aboriginal people here look just like us. You go down and see the Olmec statues. You go to California, the Ohlone Indians, the Mojave Indians. I'm talking about jet black people, all on this eastern seaboard, jet black people. So we were mixed in with the brothers and sisters brought over from the diaspora. In the 1920s, William Plecker, the white man who worked at the Vital Statistics Office, he went out of his way, he was a white supremacist, he went out of his way to erase the records of black people who were Native American, and they just reclassified everybody as Negro. This went on into the 1960s. The case with Loving versus the state of Virginia is based on the ruling that he put together. The one-drop rule was really not just for white people. The one-drop rule was to stop us from claiming our Native Aboriginal status. Mildred Loving, the woman who was a part of that case, she's actually Native American. She was reclassified as Negro. So this is a piece of our history that's not told to us because we're taught that we're comparative to immigrants and foreigners, and we are not. So we have to understand this is our land.
I'm mindful that I have tons of European blood, right?
Oh yeah,
but that's not my space. I don't want to claim that. And so I do identify too with my indigenous background here in the United States. But I'm very, very mindful about the culture, right, that I'm operating from and practicing, and the resources that are associated with that culture, and just even whether it's the land itself and the relationship to which my phenotype and genetics developed, right, whether it's a classification process, which is a social construction, right, when looking at history and how the census, categorizes people from a very white supremacist ideology and purpose. I can recognize that I have a range of ancestry, but I think, again, going to that concept of culture, I'm attracted to African culture because I'm African. And so whether it's a percentage, I took African ancestry test, but I'm very mindful that in order for me to have an identity, I need to have an origin story. And I do identify the origin story of everyone on the planet from Africa. And so I think that helps me to center myself. So I'm just even thinking about of course, I have been here my whole life, right? I've never lived in Africa. And I think there are certain benefits that can be afforded to people as they navigate and transition throughout the globe. So I think there are benefits to understanding connections to environments versus connections to trauma environments too. So of course there's trauma on the African continent, tons, centuries in these pieces, but I'm just very mindful of where my origin story begins.
And what I don't want black folks to get into, and white people who are controlling the education system and the media system too, they Wakandaize our history. See, they create this Wakanda civilization that we long for, and it's not, that doesn't exist anymore. That's the reality of it. And we have to recognize foundational black Americans' uniqueness. We are very exceptional people who are different from other groups. We're the only group that built a nation from scratch. We're the only group who protected this country in every single war. We're the only group who created holidays like Memorial Day. We were the ones who created Memorial Day, memorializing the people who fought in the Civil War. That's another thing. We fought in these wars like the Civil War to free ourselves. We weren't just sitting around waiting on white mommy and daddy to free us. The Seminoles were fighting a guerrilla warfare. We fought in the Civil War. We've always maintained the integrity of this country. We created music and cultures from scratch. We created foods and recipes from scratch. We've done so many things. We created languages from scratch. So we are the culture of this nation. We're the moral fiber of this nation. And that's the thing that keeps this nation together. And that's the thing that makes this nation great, is the moral fiber that we put down. This is why when you think of black people, you think of foundational black Americans. You think of Muhammad Ali. You think of Dr. Martin Luther King. You think of Rosa Parks. You think of Ida B. Wells. You think of foundational black Americans because we've been the moral fiber of the planet, if you want to go there. But that's no disrespect to our brothers and sisters in Africa. I go to Africa all the time and I got a lot of love for them. We have a lot of respect for them. But we just understand our own unique ethnic group as foundational black Americans.
That the birthright citizenship was granted to. Like I said, a lot of y'all been hating on us so-called black Americans for the longest. A lot of y'all been prejudiced against us, I guess that's the word, Call us lazy, call us that. Wanna know why? Cause you benefiting off our inheritance. And that shit over with.
Oh, we need to stop being so mean to the natives. Beyonce wore a shirt. Does it occur to anybody that the natives have been talking to the real indigenous community like this for much longer than they've even been talking to me like this? And I know y'all think blatant racism is justified, but please tell me where I've been blatantly racist to you. All I said is that you come from Asia, and y'all are actually crashing out, making TikTok lives about me. This is not the first time people have bullied me on TikTok live. Y'all want to know why I'm such a prick? Because people are this way to me. It's not gonna stop me from sunning y'all. Be respectful to your elders. That includes black and Asiatic people. Someday everyone will realize that they either came from a black or Asian person, or better yet, a black Asiatic. Y'all can deny it all you want, but it just proves how long you've been drinking the Kool-Aid. Like chugging it. And it's proven the points that indigenous melanated people have been making, that y'all are tools to the white man. I got on Koreans and Japanese about this. Why did anyone think they'd be safe? Racists have tried to silence me my whole life, starting with my own parents. I'm literally made for this shit. It's not gonna get me to be quiet. I will keep running my mouth, and I will keep sunning y'all.
All these bitches is my sons, and I'ma go and get some pips.
Since the Native Americans are so smart, and you got your degrees and you know every goddamn thing, then why aren't you guys getting up here discussing the 1924 Racial Integrity Act? I told y'all to leave me the fuck alone, but y'all wanted to push. So let's motherfucking press these motherfucking pipes. And surprisingly, this document or this bill was passed the same year that you guys were able to call yourselves Native American. I broke this down in 2 parts. Yes, we're reading the entire thing. Buckle your seatbelts. And I'm finna give you hoes a little Daryl. You might as well go ahead and call Bonnet Boss. It says Senate Bill 219 to preserve racial integrity passed the House in 1924 of March 8th. And it's now a law of the state. Oh, I can't wait to jump into the gold. This bill aims at correcting a condition which only the more thoughtful people of Virginia know the existence of. It is estimated that there are in the state of from 10,000 to 20,000, possibly more, near white people who are known to possess an intermixture of colored blood. Now, before I finish, I need all of y'all Native Americans to drop that meme that y'all have been passing around of the the identity crisis of the Negro. Y'all go ahead and drop that before I finish, because y'all know we were classified several times, but y'all don't believe us. Let's keep going. In some cases, to a slight extent, it is true, but still enough to prevent them from being white. Oh. In the past, it has been possible for these people to declare themselves as white, or even to have the court so declare them. They have demanded the admittance of their children into the white schools, and in not a few cases have intermarried with white people. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that the only intermarried that we had to worry about was the Cherokees and the Europeans. I didn't know that the coloreds and the Negroes had that to worry about as well. I mean, maybe in 1924, because that's after the slavery was abolished, right? Let's keep going. They exist as distinct colonies holding themselves aloof from Negroes. So y'all didn't believe us when we said that our terms were interchangeable. But I just proved to you that we got colored, and now we got Negro. Let's keep going. But not being admitted by the white people as of their race. Y'all ready? In any large gathering or school of colored people, there goes that word again, especially in the cities, many will be observed who are scarcely distinguishable as colored. These persons, however, are not white in reality, nor by the new definitions of this law. That a white person is with one with no trace of the blood of another race, except that a person with 1/16 of the American Indian. So if this document was to prevent Caucasian people or colored people who could pass as Caucasian from passing as Caucasian, then why are they called American Indian?
All right. Gaspar Yenga was not African. He was American. Yes, we back at it again. And the theme is the same. You are believers when you're immature. But when you go to the cause, you become a knower. And the problem is that people are believing instead of knowing. Go to the cause, not the effects. The lie has a reference. It's the effect of covering the truth. But the truth can exist without the lie. This man is an American and not an African. How do I know? Because you can't bring any receipts to prove that he came from Africa. But we can bring all the receipts to prove that he was an American. Let's look at his profile. Where did they say he was? Veracruz. You see, you have to go in chronology when you look at the colonizers. Portuguese, Spanish, Dutch, French, then English. Most of us start at the end with the English and the British, and we miss all the lies before. Veracruz was not in Mexico at this time. Well, do you have proof? Of course I do. Professor Mode. Vincent Yanez Pinzon. Where was he? January 1500 in the region of the mouth of the what? Amazon. Sighted the mainland of Brazil. And in the name of the King of Portugal, he christened the area Ilha de la Veracruz. Veracruz was in South America. I'm not done. Go back to the name, Yenga. Where does that come from? There we have it. Shout out to brother Omek Bookman for showing me this. Yenga. Do I need to go further? This is South America. Gaspar Yenga's name is American. It's not African. Veracruz was not in Mexico even at the time that they are making these statements. It was in South America. So global geography is not what you believe it to be under the British Empire. The switches and changes take scholars to explain it to you. And I'm the top scholar at Aboriginal University. Gaspar Yenga was an American. Maroons are American. Creole is what we do to languages. We call it double, triple entendres, and we do it in hip hop. The historians you have, fire them.
She needs to know when to stop, because why are you so involved in indigenous business?
Why are you so involved in indigenous business? You're not the American Indian that went through hundreds of years of reclassification to black, now African American. You don't have that history of being enslaved in the Americas on your own land. You're the people who helped the people enslave my people, and you're doing it still today, right now. So you shouldn't be speaking on the American Indian business in the Americas, boss. She's going to keep on saying whatever she wants to say because she's telling the truth, which you people refuse to do. So carry on.
Thanks for kicking it with the catcher. I done found another interesting clip for you guys. And as usual, it's either some news you can use or some good game that's going to inspire you to change. Thanks a lot and enjoy the clip.
So, if you ever wondered why Native Americans are called First Nations and why the whole world recognizes us as indigenous people, it's because we are the true indigenous people of the planet, the most ancient, the indigenous first people.
A few moments later.
The first people, they didn't perfect them because they had to make more people and different. They made the native man last.
A few moments later.
The First Nations would be the people that walked the furthest from Africa, the first migration of people in the beginning of time, and made it to the Americas first. In order to be part of that first migration, you would have had to be there in the beginning, right? So First Nations people in North America are the First Nations that left Africa.
A few moments later.
My people have always been on Turtle Island, and all life, all creation began on Turtle Island.
Stop it. Get some help.
All right, racists, let's talk about the truth. There is so much discourse lately about who is native and who is indigenous, and even the nerve to bring up who is the architect of soul food. And what everyone needs to understand is that black people are the earth. Black people are the only unmutated humanity. They told you humans came from Africa like it was a migration story. But that's not the truth. The truth is, Africa is the first face of the earth. And blackness is the source of all biology. Everyone else? Genetic drift, mutational echo, survival glitches adapted to ice and exile. Let's talk origins. The black woman is the womb of the world. Forget the Eve in the garden story. That was a stolen metaphor. The real Eve lives in the woman's mitochondria. And not just any women. Melanin-rich, thick-hipped, thick-lipped, and copper-toned. Elegant, poised, literally perfect, planet-rooted black women. White women don't carry the full ancestral genome. Asian, Mexican, and Native women only carry fragments. Black women carry the total code. She doesn't reproduce diversity. She births the whole species. When small African offshoot groups migrated north, they weren't evolving. They were mutating, adapting to survival, not thriving. That's where lighter skin, narrow nostrils, reduced melanin, and behavioral changes began. All signs of environmental stress, not superiority. You don't get white by evolving, you get white by forgetting the sun. And that forgetting is not advancement, it's progression. The white genome contains 1 to 4% Neanderthal DNA. Let me repeat, they didn't just descend from humans. They were cavemen. Black people have 0 Neanderthal admixture. That's not a joke. That's biology. Black people are the originals. Non-black people are the remix. The problem is, the remix decided to express its evil nature by attempting to erase the original track. Let's talk indigenous. The term indigenous was invented by settlers to decide who was native enough to be managed, named, and displaced. But indigenous is a political term, not a genetic one. And political terms can't overwrite blood memory. Being first on the continent does not make you first on the planet. However, black people being first on the planet means they are first on every continent. The black genome is Earth's source code. Everyone else is just running a copy of their biological operating system. The war against black genetics is a war against humanity. Melanin isn't pigment, it's the processor. It's the molecule that translates solar energy into life. Plants have it, animals have it, humans need it. Black people have the highest concentration of it, which means black people don't just live on Earth, they translate it. They are not just a race, they are the root species. Black isn't a color, it's the motherboard. Every other group, adaptations, mutations, and mistakes. This isn't supremacy. This is truth. Black people didn't come from Africa. Africa came from black people.
Y'all mad at Beyonce over a t-shirt?
But not the ones who colonized, killed, and enslaved us both?
Fix that.
Oh, now you're admitting that they crossed from Siberia to North America. I thought that was a theory. I thought that was debunked. Now, did I say they were controlled by China? No. Siberians come from what is now known as the Chinese. What they did was mix with European, which is why I call y'all Eurasians. 1 + 1 = 2. Stop shifting the goalpost every time I prove y'all wrong.
Like, bro contradicted himself I don't know how many times. Like, that is crazy. Crazy. And I know old boy talking about the eating gene really had to hurt his feelings. That really had to hurt. Like, for real. Like, man, it's getting hot out here. It's getting hot out here. But hey, all I'm doing is I'm bringing the videos. I'm bringing the videos so we can react to them, so we can see them, and go ahead and discuss what we gotta discuss down in the comments. You know, I brings the truth to the people so that the people can know. They was talking about taking us to court, and look at how quick that changed. I wonder why they don't want to do that. It's because more truth is going to be revealed by doing that. I honestly believe so. So, you know, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Because like I said before, I'm stuck in the middle of this. I'm looking from both sides. Like, damn, this is crazy. But like I've also said in a couple of my TikTok videos, because, you know, you can follow me over there, R1D1, you know, go ahead. But like I said in those, there's only been one side that's been racist to me. And it's not my black side. No, that might hurt some feelings, but it's the truth. And I'm sorry, but that's what I keep. Hey, but I'm your boy Azrael. And this has been another episode of Azrael Reacts. And you know what? I'll catch you next time. So you know what I gotta do. Deuces.